Today on a 50-pound brain, we're taking a break from Higgins and we're going to install airbag suspension lift on the old F-150 because we're getting ready in 2 days to take a cross-country trip with a trailer load of stuff to Florida. It's 10 after 4 right now, and I'll let you know when we get done because it's going to take longer than whatever the duration of this video is. So this is not like one of those home reno shows where it all happens in an hour. I suspect it'll take us a couple hours, but the video will probably only be 15 minutes or so long. I'll give you the highlights and anything you need to be aware of in this video, but I'm not gonna have the camera running the whole time. All right, let's get going. All right, here's our kit from Amazon, and it looks like a pretty decent kit. Everything's here according to the inventory. I'm not going to sit here and give you my opinion on all that stuff and waste a bunch of time. We got things to do, so let's get going. After we did our inventory, we pulled off the rear wheels and jacked it up as high as we could to get full axle droop so we can get in here, because we're going to be in here getting these snubbers off. That's where our airbag's going to go, in there. Bolts to the axle, bolts to the frame. We've got our jack stands in place. Jack handle is removed because I tripped over one of those a few years back, broke my kneecap in two. Got a couple of nice deck screws holding my kneecap together now. Front tires are chalked, both sides. We're ready to get to work. All right, so this is a 2013 F-150. So I'm not gonna guarantee socket sizes on anything other than maybe, I'm not even gonna guarantee them on a 2013, but on my truck, way up in here is a 13mm head bolt that holds the snubber on. So, in case you're wondering. That's what it looks like once it's removed. Okay, and here's our first plate. This goes right there toward the inside. This big gap, notch, whatever you want to call it, goes facing inboard because that's where the air fitting for the airbag is going to stick out through. So, and it's retained in our old snubber bolt nut with this bolt. Now, one thing they don't say to do and they don't provide, but I'm doing it, is Loctite, because I do not want this thing coming apart on the road. So highly recommend it. I use the chapstick version. If you ask to borrow my chapstick, this is what I'm going to loan you. If you are going to put this on your lips, well, I hear it tastes like blueberry. You can tell me. Put a comment down below if it tastes other than blueberry. I don't know if you can see it, but these are marked left and right. Let's see if I can get in here. Yeah, there's the R right there. One thing I will say, this booklet, the instruction book, is actually pretty good. It's a little misleading because they show you putting both plates on the air spring, and this is what we just mounted on the truck. But other than that, the pictures are actually quite good. Okay, there's our airbags with the upper mount plates installed. Install your air valves first before you put the plates on. They'll still swivel. They're not, you got to get them tight just to the right spot, which is pretty cool. It doesn't say in the instructions, but it doesn't say not to. I put thread sealant on it, Loctite on the screws again, and I don't know if you can see it. There is an L and an R in the plates. These are countersunk, so kind of gives it away as which way should be up. But yeah, so far this has been a pretty beautiful kit. So let's keep going. One thing I forgot to mention, this is a 6mm Allen socket. So you can watch this video once through and gather up all your tools. Okay, first issue of the kit. See how that Allen head bolt and washer stick up above this plate. The head of the bolt is going to have to be ground down so that the plate we just bolted onto the airbag sits flush on this, or on the plate we just mounted to the frame. Come on, stay focused. Be prepared for that. There it is once it's ground down. Mount it first, don't grind it and then think you're gonna mount it, because there's not gonna be much of the hex drive left when you're done. There's the original height and the new height. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Okay, so yeah, that's how much we ground off of it. And let's see if we can see up in it. Yeah, it's not pretty. And I hit it with the grinder a few times in spots. I'll have to touch that up. But yeah, if I have to take this out, it's gonna be with vice grips more than likely. So, note to self. There's our first airbag mounted. 2 bolts, carriage bolts, which is sweet. Nylock nuts on top. 11/16 socket to drive them. There's a, yeah, this is gonna be somewhat of an issue, but they give you a heat sleeve for the airline to go on, and it comes with the kit, and there's a heat shield too. So I'll show you that when we get to that point. So I took the passenger side back apart because the kit comes with 4 of these roll plates, they call them, I think. Let's see. Number 7 here. Yeah, rolling plate. Well, the instructions didn't say anything about the top one when we were putting the top together, but it comes with 4 of them, and it has a hole for the air fitting. So I took the passenger side back apart to put this in, and now I'm going to put it back together. So note to self. All right, so we're getting ready to put the axle bracket on, and this particular model requires this adapter plate. Show you. It looks like this. So gonna bolt those on, and then we're gonna bolt it to the axle. All right, brackets are installed. There's quite a bit of mess to go around over there with the line bracket that's welded on the axle tube. Let me zoom out, sorry. I'm crawling under the car as I do this. So I'm gonna have to secure this in a lock brake speed sensor wire, because the bolt went right through the bracket where it was secured. So now we're to the point of bringing the axle up and bolting these babies on. So here's what I did to ensure that I could get a bolt started and keep everything aligned. As I jacked the axle up, I put a long pilot screw in through the bracket into the airbag, and it'll keep the relationship a little bit better than trying to get it all lined up with everything floating around as I bring the axle up on the floor jack. So it narrows down the error and a misalignment. So I can get this jacked up, and then I can probably get the front bolt in. That's how I did the other side. I don't know if you can see it. Get the front bolt in, and then I can unscrew this one and put in the real bolt here for the back with the Loctite and everything. And then we're about done. Okay, we are in. Minus routing the airlines, which I'll do tomorrow. But the hard part's done. The pilot bolt thing in the airbag worked really well, so I would highly recommend that. Yeah, I got to figure out how to keep this airline out of the exhaust, keep it from melting and flattening our whole system. I'll probably route it over to the driver's side and bring them both back to the bumper. But yeah, I'll figure that out tomorrow. It is 8 o'clock, so So it was, what, 4 hours. There was gab time involved with Mrs. O and the neighbor. There was disassembly to put in the upper rolling brackets or whatever those things are called. So yeah, if you have this video, you've watched this video, you've rounded up all your tools, then I can't see why this wouldn't take more than 3 hours or faster. Like I said, if I had everything rounded up and ready to go, I probably could have done this in 3 hours if I just got after it. So one thing I did on the passenger side, as soon as I got it away from the spring, I got it also away from the exhaust fast as I could, and zip tied it to the emergency brake cable. Came up, and now it's zip tied to the hard brake line that runs from right to left, and then came over and joined the driver's side line, and then I'm following the wiring harness back to the back bumper. Now, something you should consider: do not cut your line in half. Just hook up each end to a bag and run it as a single tube, and then cut it to length when you get to wherever you're going to put your Schrader valves. Because in this case, now granted, I have plenty of slack, and it all depends on how you route. But since I'm coming from the passenger side to the driver's side, if I just took this hose and arbitrarily cut it in half before I ever started this, I could possibly end up with one side that's too long and one side that's too short. This way, I can custom cut it once I get to my destination. All right, back from Florida. And I'm going to guess within 20 minutes of installing the airbags and airing them up, they were flat. So let's figure out why. And here's why it bled down. I hope you can see that. It's bubbling out of the... Maybe that makes it better. So remember, I used the thread sealant on these fittings when I put them in instead of Teflon tape. The instructions didn't call for either. So I have to take the top mounts of these bags off and reseal these fittings. Hopefully they'll seal up, but they bled down pretty quick. So if you look at the fitting and you look at the bag, there is no trace of thread sealant anywhere. I don't know if the thread fit is so bad that the air just blew all the sealant out, but I do know that it was all gone. So let's fix that. Alright, so got this torn apart, and I must say, first off, when you go to do this install, take your spare tire out. I didn't realize how much more room I would have, and so I didn't take it out when I did the original install. But it's way more convenient to get, especially to the top of the airbags and all that mess. And with the exhaust in the way on the passenger side, yeah, it definitely is a plus. So we had our leak. I took it all apart over on the driver's side here and Teflon taped our fitting because there was nothing on there. I don't know why, but it didn't look like there was any kind of sealing compound in there. I thought I put either thread sealant or Teflon tape on it, but apparently I did not, or if I did, it blew it all out. So I've got it in a C-clamp, and it's just sitting in a leaf spring. And it's got 40 PSI on it. So, which is good. I don't see any bubbles now, not like we did last night.
So, unfortunately, yeah, I think that was the cause of all our problems. So, let's put this thing back together and we'll repeat this process over on the passenger side. So far they're holding. I aired them up an hour ago and they're still up. So, we'll see. I put like 70 psi in them. That's why the thing's sitting so high. And we'll see how long it lasts. I didn't go back and look at the assembly part of this video, but I'm pretty sure I used thread sealant on the air fittings that go into the bag. So the lesson learned there is use Teflon tape. Like I said, the instructions don't call out either, but yeah, use Teflon tape instead of thread sealant, because I think the thread fit is bad enough to where it blows out the sealant. And maybe there's a cure time on sealant. I don't know. I've never seen one. And the container is so nasty now that I don't even see the directions on it anymore. Other lessons learned: take out your spare tire, take out the heat shield for the spare tire that's on the passenger side, and it'll make installing the passenger side bag much easier. But the kit is well made. The pieces are all well made, fit together well, fit right on the truck perfectly. So yeah, it's thumbs up on that part from the Jungle website. So I'll leave a link in the description to this kit, which is for an 09 to 14 F-150, but I'm sure they have others. So, but yeah, seems to work good. Didn't work good on my the first Florida trip, but there'll be others, and I'll be towing that trailer more. So, it'll pay off now. All right. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.